As we welcome our dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please remain standing now as we have the official song of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may please take your seats now. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Diploma awarding ceremony of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a day of rejoicing and celebration because it's a high point on our academic calendar. Today, we are taking the opportunity to recognize and reward the accomplishments and the achievements of our dear students. Now, as all of you know, This diploma awarding ceremony is a culmination of all of our students' incredible efforts over many, many months. And as we bestow on our students their well-earned diplomas today, we are so proud of what our students have achieved. And therefore, as we begin with our ceremony, can we first and foremost begin with a round of applause for all of our students who've earned their place to be here today. Let's put our hands together for all of our students, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Now, at the very outset, as we commence with our ceremony, allow me to give you a brief background to the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. The Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka, or VTA, is the nation's leading public sector vocational training institution. With 29 years of service, VTA provides vital employment skills, focusing on rural and underserved youth. From 31 centers at its inception, VTA has now grown into Sri Lanka's largest vocational training network, operating 163 vocational training centers, 22 district vocational training centers, and 8 national vocational training institutes. Annually, it also trains approximately 35,000 youth through 103 courses spanning 18 trade sectors, empowering those without access to higher education workforce. Now, today we are happy to recognize yet another batch of hardworking students who are sure to make VTA proud. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to commence our ceremony by showcasing before you a brief documentary of what the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka has to offer. So may I invite you now to turn your attention to the screen as we take a look at this brief video.
විශ්වය විස්මිත නිර්මාණයක් මිලියන දහස් ගණනකට ජීවය සලසන අපි හඳුනාගත් එකම තැන එයයි. ලොවපුරා තාක්ෂණික දියුණුව අසීමාන්තික වන අවධියක රැකියා වෙළඳපොළ කවර දාටක් වඩා තරඟකාරීව වර්ධනය වෙයි. අනාගතයට ඔබ සූදානම්ද? සාර්ථකත්වය වෘත්තීය නිපුණතාවය තුළින් ලබා ගැනීමට උනන්දු වන දහස් ගණනකගේ ශිල්පීය දැනුමේ තක්සලාව වූයේ මේ භූමියයි. නමින් එය ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෘත්තීය පුහුණු අධිකාරියයි. වර්තමානයේ VTA ලෙස සැම දෙනාගේ මුවංග රැඳුණු සන්නාමය එයයි. VTA वर्ष 1995 අගෝස්තු මස 16 වන දින ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෘත්තීය පුහුණු අධිකාරිය ආරම්භ කරන ලදී. කාමර සේවා ශිල්පී, පැසුම් තාක්ෂණවේදී, CNC තාක්ෂණ ශිල්පී, ස්වයංක්‍රීයකරණය සහ රොබෝ තාක්ෂණවේදී, වෘත්තීය සූපවේදී, මෝටර් රථ පින්තාරු ශිල්පී, මෝටර් රථ තාක්ෂණවේදී, රූපලාවන්‍ය සහ කොණ්ඩා සැකසුම් ශිල්පී, ශීතකරණ සහ වායු සමීකරණ තාක්ෂණවේදී, විදුලි තාක්ෂණවේදී, තරල බල තාක්ෂණවේදී, මෝස්තර නිර්මාණ තාක්ෂණවේදී, යන්ත්‍ර ශිල්පී, වැඩිහිටි සත්කාර සේවා ශිල්පී, පෙර පාසල් ගුරු පුහුණුව, CNC තාක්ෂණවේදී සිංහල දමිළ සහ ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයන් ත්‍රිත්වයෙන්ම පාඨමාලා හැදෑරීමේ හැකියාව මෙන්ම රුචිකත්වය පරිදි පූර්ණ කාලීන හෝ අකාලීන පාඨමාලාවන් වෙත යොමුවීමේ පහසුව හිමිවේ. භෝජනාගාර සේවා ශිල්පී තොරතුරු තාක්ෂණවේදී පාඨමාලාව අවසානයේ ජාතික වෘත්තීය සුදුසුකම් සහතිකය හෙවත් LVQ සහතික ලාභියෙක් වීමේ අභිමානය හිමිවේ. ඊට සමගාමීව ජාත්‍යන්තරයට සරලන ගෝලීය රැකියා පදපුල අවශ්‍යතා සපුරන ප්‍රමුඛයා ලෙසින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෘත්තීය පුහුණු අධිකාරිය යුග මෙහෙවරක පෙර ගමන්කරු ලෙසින් යෝධ ශක්තියෙන් යුක්තව පෙළ ගැසී සිටී. වෘත්තීය පුහුණුවේ ජාත්‍යන්තර ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෘත්තීය පුහුණු අධිකාරිය.
Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was a brief glimpse into the nation's trusted brand in vocational training, and that is, of course, the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. Now, this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be beginning with awarding the diplomas to over 750 students in the audience. But first and foremost, to officially declare the ceremony open, it's my pleasure to invite the Chairman CEO of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka to do the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with your applause, Mrs. Samanthi Senanayaka.
Good afternoon. I declare the Diploma Awarding Ceremony year 2024 be commenced for the conferment of NVQ Level 5 and 6 National Diplomas and Higher National Diplomas.
Thank you. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mrs. Samanthi Senanayaka, our Chairman CEO of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. And with the ceremony now officially opened, it's now time for us to recognize and reward our students for their efforts over many, many months as we commence the conferment of diplomas, to now do the honors of presenting the first segment of diploma certificates. I'd like to respectfully invite our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, Prime Minister of Sri Lanka and the Minister of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education. And Madam will be accompanied by Mrs. Samanthi Senanayaka, Chairman CEO of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will now get started. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5 from the District Vocational Training Centre, Ampara. Let's welcome our first student, A. Mohammed Sian. Put your hands together for our students, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student, S.A. Mohammed Shifan. Joining next, FMN Arif. Our next student, I am Asmi. Put your hands together. We then move on, National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5, District Vocational Training Centre, Ampara, SL Mohammed Tanish. Put your hands together for our students. Next, National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5 from the District Vocational Training Centre, Anuradhapura, RMUVC Ramanayaka. Our next student, WAGC Senaratna. Joining next, we have ND Hettiarachi. Our next student, BMS Prabhashana. Our next student, NNL Rajapaksa. Joining next, EMLH Ekanayaka. We continue with the National Diploma in Information Communication Technology. Next, we have AMICB Abhay Singha. Put your hands together for our students. These are our students from the Vocational Training Centre in Anuradhapura. Joining next, we have IL Vedamulla. Put your hands together. Joining next, RMSCP Ratnayaka. Our next student, PMRS Veerasingha. AMDK Abhay Singha. Disanayaka. KSK BMRL WKJB Lenavala. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on, MYGIM Medivaka. Put your hands together. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. We continue. RSD Senaratna. We then move on to DPS Senaratna. Put your hands together. Our next student, PAKN Dharmaratna. Once again, these are our students from the District Vocational Training Centre in Anuradhapura. Joining next, MMD Deshan. We then move on to DMDCD Dasanayaka. We will then be moving on to the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5 from the Vocational Training Centre, Ambegoda, Bandaravela. We have A. Akash. Put your hands together. Our next student, WMID Vijay Sundara. We then move on, WBM Dilhan Dulaj. NHA Umayanga Ratnapala. DMMP Premaratna. And we then move on to BAKI Balasurya. With that, we of diplomas. We say thank you very much to our dignitaries. And with that, it's now our pleasure to invite our chief guest for today, Honorable Dr. Haruni Amarasuriya, to address the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, may we please put our hands together as we welcome our Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Haruni Amarasuriya.
Secretaries, Chairperson of VTA, Director General, VTA, directors, staff, most importantly, the diploma holders and their families. Good afternoon. It is both a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you today at this significant milestone in the lives of 761 trainees who are graduating from Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. Let me begin by extending my heartfelt congratulations to all the graduates who have successfully completed their training today. Today is a celebration of your hard work, determination, and the unwavering commitment of your instructors and mentors and of your families who have supported you in this journey. So I congratulate all of you. I thank your families for the support that they've extended to you and to the dedicated staff who've done a very good job with them. The Vocational Training Authority has always been a cornerstone of our nation's development. Over the years, it has played a vital role in empowering the youth of Sri Lanka with skills that are not only practical, but also transformative. Today, I am proud to note that approximately 35,000 trainees are trained annually across 18 diverse trades under the guidance of VTA. These trades encompass fields such as construction, hospitality, information technology, automotive repair, and renewable energy, to name just a few fields critical to both our local and global communities. As you know, for a nation to thrive, for a society to thrive and flourish, we need people with very many different skills. We need to have doctors, we need nurses, but we also need nurses, we also need elder caregivers, mental health therapists, physiotherapists, beauticians, artists, engineers, mechanics, carpenters, and believe it or not, even politicians. We need all of these people for a society to grow, for a society to thrive and flourish. It is the intention of this government to make sure that our education system, that every child who enters our system, education or at grade 1, will be nurtured and mentored through a process where when he or she comes out of it, a career path is open to him or her. We want the choices that you have to be broadened, for you to have many choices, for you to aspire to do good things, to do great things, according to what you feel you are best at and what you can and want to do. It is in such a society where our youth have many choices, where our youth see many avenues and paths for their growth and development, that we can call ourselves a country that is truly developed and truly serving the citizens that it is supposed to serve. Vocational education in particular serves as a bridge between learning individuals with skills directly applicable to industry needs. It fosters a workforce that is not only employable, but also entrepreneurial, addressing a critical challenge for our nation, bridging the skill gap to meet labor market demands. In our manifesto, we have planned to provide technical education and vocational skills to youth from school right up to the tertiary level, so that vocational education, technical education, education that is linked or training that is linked directly to the labor market becomes available to many more than it is now. We also want to make sure that each profession is valued, that our society will become a society that recognizes the value and importance of each profession, that each person who enters any profession of his or her choice feels like an important and valued member of society and is confident that with that profession, in that chosen career, he or she can flourish. Sri Lanka's youth hold immense potential to shape a brighter future for our nation. To unlock this potential, we must invest in vocational and technical education as a catalyst for growth. This involves improving the infrastructure of training centers, enhancing training quality through capacity development, and ensuring and creating different pathways, different avenues for youth to follow in vocational education. I look forward to working with all of you to make sure that the vocational and technical education sector of our country truly reaches its potential and delivers for the youth of this country. By expanding training opportunities and providing high-demand courses that's linked to the development agenda, to the development vision that our government has for this country, we want to be able to build a skilled workforce ready to meet both local and global market needs. To the graduates, you are ambassadors of this vision. You carry forward the pride of your achievement, the hope of your families, the promise of a brighter future for our nation. The future really belongs to you. What our future is, what kind of a society we live in, will depend on you, what you do with the education and the training that you have received. It's not only the skills that you carry, but the values that you have imbibed, hopefully through your education, through the opening up of your mind to different possibilities. We hope that you will contribute to the renaissance of this country. Our hope is in you. Whatever our investments, whatever our plans, all of this is done with you in mind, that you will have the opportunities that our generation or the generations before us did not have. As you step into the workforce, I encourage you to embrace innovation, creativity, continue learning, and serve as role models for others to follow. Remember that what we would expect and like from you is that you consider yourself a member of a large community, a member of a society for which your input, how you function, will become immensely important as to what kind of a country we become. You have the power to change this country. You have the power to change this society, to change the development trajectory that we have been following all these years. So a lot of our hope rests with you. Once again, congratulations to all the graduates, and my sincere gratitude to the Vocational Training Authority for its exceptional efforts in difficult circumstances. I know that successive governments probably haven't given you the attention you deserve. And we want to change that. And we want to make sure that every sector of education in this country is valued and treated equally. Let us continue to strengthen this institution, ensuring that it remains a beacon of opportunity and empowerment for generations to come. We are hopeful, and we hope that you are too. Thank you, and may you achieve great success in your endeavors.
Thank you very much to our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. Madam, if you don't mind, we'd like to invite you to join us back front. And we'd also like to invite Mrs. Samanthi Senanayake, Chairman and CEO of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka, to please join us in the center of the stage. It's time now for us to present a token of appreciation to our chief guest as we thank our Honorable Prime Minister for gracing our diploma awarding ceremony with her presence and sharing her valuable time and message with us. With that being said, let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, the Prime Minister, as well as the Minister of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education of Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for joining us today, Madam. With that being said, we do understand that our chief guest has other official matters to attend to, and she will be shortly leaving us. Thank you very much for gracing our occasion. Thank you, Madam. Let's put our hands together one more time as we say thank you to Honorable Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. With that being said, we are ready now to commence our next segment of the conferment of diploma certificates. To do the honors of the same, I'd now like to invite Mrs. Samanthi Senanayake, Additional Secretary, Vocational Training and Chairman CEO of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka, accompanied by Mr. Niroshan Pereira, Director HR and Administration at the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. So let's get started with our very next segment. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5 for the National Vocational Training Institute in Batticaloa. We start with A. Christia. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student, Insimam. Put your hands together. Joining next, S. Tharshan. Our next student is J. Vibeshan. Joining next, we have M. Biruntajini. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for our students, National Vocational Training Institute, Batticaloa. We then move on to M.J. Abdullah. Our next student, M.B.F. Hana. We then move on to G. Vitursan. Our next student is M. Gershon. Joining next, A.H.M. Humais Khan. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute, Batticaloa. We then move on to A.W.N. Ahmad. Joining next, S. Tanushya. We then move on to Y. Sivayokini. Our next student, L. Kishomi. We then move on to R. Nitarshika. Our next student, ABF Rahiba. Joining next, AL Aisha Shabreen. We then move on to MJ Fatima Jifra. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, J.A. Farveen. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to S.A. Javeed Rahman. Our next student, S. Sulachika. Joining next, D. Gobikant. Put your hands together. Our next student, S.A. Rahman. Joining next, A.R. Fatima Safna. We then move on to V. Sarunika. Joining next, G. Vaishnavi. M.M. Mumtaj Asfara. We then move on to A.M. Aman. Joining next, G. Dishani. M.I.F. Hasita. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute, Batikalo. Joining next, S. Thamya. Put your hands together for them. We then move to S. Fatima Hamza. Our next student is T. Devika. We then move on to the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5, from the National Vocational Training Institute, Batikalo, T. Tabotini. Put your hands together for our students. Joining next, I. Muhammad Ijaz. We then move on to P. Tarutanan. Your applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our students have come from all across the island to be here today, and we truly need to appreciate their efforts. Next up, we have N. Sangar. Put your hands together. We then move on to Maheswaran Vipakarani. We then move to the National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5, National Vocational Training Institute, Narayanpeta, MBM Taha. Put your hands together. DHMI Shamali. Joining next is BD Nilmini Pereira. We then move on to WAS Nelka Vijaysurya. Joining next, we have S. Tushani Nilanka. This is a National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5. We then move on, SP Samarasinghe. Joining next, RIG Madhuka Subhashini. Our next student, WPO Vasudha. Next we have SMDLYE Sinarap. Put your hands together. AADSP Priyalakshika. We then move on to WAA Udari. Joining next, PSP Sulochani. National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5. Joining next, IWN Priyanti. Our next student, PHCG Kumari. We then move on to MLH Madhumali Lianage. Joining next, KDT Premaratna. We're in the National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, EWGAR Gunaratna. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Narayanpeta. Joining next, KG Ganga Rohini. Our next student is MNK Senaviratna. Our next student, HPC Heva Patirana. Up next, KRHS Kumarasinghe. National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5, WAV Kavindi. Our next student, EMS Vijay Sekara. Up next, CE Hiripitia. We then move on to PG Rajapaksa. Our next student, KPHS Patirana. MGPN Mapalagama. Joining next, PPI Lakshani. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student, MPSN Fernando. We then move on to AGNN Bandara. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Narayanpeta, National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5. Up next, AADS Anjalika. Put your hands together. Joining next, we have DNS Ranatunga. Our next student is DY Vidanagamage. Joining next, PGP Sandeepani. We then move on to HKUM Pemaratna. NHJ Heshan. Our next student, TAH Miranda. We then move on to PDN Madhusanka. Next we have R. Romison. LDPMB Shakya. Joining next we have DH Narayana. Put your hands together for our students. We then move on to RDA Kaushalya. Joining next, KMC Sachinta. DKDN Dulanjali. Put your hands together for our students. National Diploma in Cosmetology, NVQ Level 5. Next up, HASI Fonseca. YRP Rasadani. Put your hands together for her. Joining next, we have DVIS Fonseca. We then move on to KWSS Fernando. Our next student, M.R.M. Ihsan. Joining next, we have R.K.L. Nayanajit. We then move on to KLC Madhusankar. Joining next, M.A.M. Akshan. Put your hands together. We then move on to G.H.A. Pereira. Our next student is A.D.V. Kavinga. Put your hands together. We then move on to G.A. Mahat. Joining next, we have BHSI Rupasingha. We then move on to GSS Dharmasena. Our next student is MNH Iresha Udayangani. We continue with National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5 from the National Vocational Training Institute, Narayanpeta. We start with KGSN Madhuranga. Joining next, HRMSN Dayananda. HHIU Nandasiri. Joining next, PA Dinit Anjana. This is a National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. We move on to S. Sajeev. Put your hands together for our students. Joining next, we have GDN Prabhashini. Next, we have AKKE Bandara. Our next student, AHSI Kavindi. Joining next, MNM Padmasiri. We then move on to KC Mallavarachi. Joining next, DGS Rangani. GMCM Attanayaka. Our next student is RKL Hinatigala. Joining next, HKCD Jayatilaka. Up next, we have KM Hettiarachi. GDL Sandaruwan. Up next, we have NS Lakpriya. Put your hands together. HDN Danushki. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Narayanpeta. We move on then to TS Rajapaksa. Up next, we have TBA Hashnas. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. We move on next to KDM Netmi Udara. These are the NVQ Level 5 diplomas that we are presenting. We move on to our next student, SM Anusha Lasanti. Put your hands together. Joining next is WDDA Abevikrama. DCAD Anjana Pumali. Up next we have HGA Madhushani. Our next student, DSN Costa. We then move on to RPDG Ratnaika. NASD Nisanka. Our next student, PGN Sewandi. We then move on to IP Suryarachi. DS Kumarasinghe. RTSAR Tispatirana. AMM Navanta. We then move on to LS Dilki Kumari. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5, KNN Karnatilaka. Our next student is HWC Sashi Prabha. Joining next, UDA Sandamali. Our next student, WPRM Pereira. Joining next, SLMSS Lakshan. Our next student, RMBL Bandara. Joining next, MADSN Amar Singha. We then move on. LPNP Sena Ratna. Put your hands together. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute, Narayanpeta. MS Fatima Asma. Let's hear your applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student, MS Fatima Hafsa. We then move on. DML Hassangani. Put your hands together. Joining next, we have KPLS Gunatilaka. TAHC Tenuvara. ADSS Arangala. Joining next, we have PHS Himahansi. Our next student is YS Iranga. Put your hands together. HSL Pereira. Congratulations. Joining next, we have DMPA Vijay Korn. Our next student, KAKP Kaluarache. AGS Piatma. Joining next, we have KTM Pires. Let's hear your applause for our students, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to DT Lokovitana. Congratulations. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Narayanpeta. Next up, we have HAT Madhurangi. Put your hands together. We're still in the NVQ level 5. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Up next, LJA Pereira. We then move on to the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5, from the National Vocational Training Institute, Narayanpeta, ISP Lakshan. We then move on to BYW, Piersingha. Joining next, we have HNT Purnika. This is the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. Up next, SMNS Samandra de Silva. Joining next, we have WPTP Gunaratna. Next up, we have LMH Madhushani Silva. Joining next, WGHG Vijay Singha. We then move on to YD Levan Gama. Put your hands together for our students. National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. We then move on to EMV Senesh Ekanaika. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Narayanpeta. Joining next is going to be MAI Mahesh Pereira. We then move on to AAN Ramdika. National Diploma in Quantity Surveying. We continue with NVQ Level 5, NDL Kulasingha. Joining next, we have SAMVT Sandeepani. Put your hands together. We then move on to KWI Madhushani. Joining next, LN Dinetra Silva. We then move on to HARK Hangavatta. Our next student is HACS Pires. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. Joining next, AMRV Abekon. Our next student is IU Tennakon. Joining next is our student RAHMAD Herat. Our next student, GMI Dineshika. Our next student is KVM Vijayamana. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, we have UGND Chandrapala. We then move on to SKDWS Senanaika. Our next student will be GKNA Veerasingha. We then move on to EMSAB Ekanayaka. Joining next, KNS Kumari. We then move on to the Higher National Diploma in Fashion Design Technology. This is the NVQ Level 6 from the National Vocational Training Institute, Narayanpeta. We start with YDK Jayalat. Put your hands together. Up next, we have NK Alexander. Joining next, RGT Jivanti. Congratulations. We then move on to CAPD Pereira. Joining next, RMAG Ratnaika. Our next student is JMAK Jayasekara. This is the Higher National Diploma in Fashion Design Technology, NVQ Level 6. Our next student, HPHN Kumari. We then move on to WK Nayanathara. Put your hands together. Our next student, RDAS Kulatunga. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Narayanpeta. We then move on to SP Vikramapala. Put your hands together. Our next student is SCJ Vikramasinghe. Higher National Diploma in Fashion Design Technology. NVQ Level 6. Next we have NS Vidyalankara. We then move on to SASM Prasadini. Joining next is going to be RDDT Karunaratna. We then move on to RADS Prabodha. And our next student is SRJ De Silva. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5, National Vocational Training Institute, Ratmalana. Starting with DMSM Dasanayaka. Our next student, KHR Ashan. We then move on to JM Don Supun Sasanka. Joining next is DRK Vijay Sundara. Our next student, ESD Fernando. This is the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. Up next, WSR Fernando. Joining next, IA Swarna Nimna. Put your hands together for her. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute in Ratmalana. Joining next, LYI Madhushankar. Our next student, SDD Madhushani. We then move on, UGRS Uduvella. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. Joining next, GAMAP Gunasekara. We then move on to MSA Vikramasinghe. Our next student, RAD Sandamini. MASA Sankalpani. Up next, we have WTS Vijayaratna. This is the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. We move on to WWJPPN Fernando. Joining next is WUD Fernando. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student is NHD Sewandi. Up next, RIBUN Ratna Malala. This is National Diploma in Quantity Survey, NVQ Level 5. Up next, HDSK Jayasekara. We then move on to the Higher National Diploma in Automation and Robotic Technology, NVQ Level 6. This is awarded by Sri Lanka Korea National Vocational Training Institute, Orogoduvatta. We start with KADTP Ravi Shan. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Next we have UGK Madhu Shan. These are our students from K-Tech, Orogoduvatta. So we then move on to DMMJ Bandara. Joining next we have LDU Nayanajit. Up next, HMRP Senavi Ratna. Our next student, LPASD Karna Ratna. Joining next we have MRHK High National Diploma in Automation and Robotic Technology, NVQ Level 6. Joining next we have MGPBB Mi Gahakotua. Put your hands together. These are the students from the Sri Lanka Korea National Vocational Training Institute, also known as K-Tech. Up next, SG Dilrukshi. We then move on to AAM Nayana. Your applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our students. And up next we have MJD Ekanayaka. Put your hands together. We then move on to the National Diploma in Automobile Technology, NVQ Level 5, also K-Tech, Orogoduvatta, starting with KKPK Dilshan. We then move on to AKT Fernando. Congratulations. National Diploma in Automobile Technology, NVQ Level 5. Next up, IR Hettiarachi. Joining next will be KDHS Gunasekara. We then move on to NSM Pereira. Our next student is SD Rukshan Sankalpa. We then move on to RYD Pereira. We then move on to RJWC Ranga. Our next student, RPSD Samarakon. We then move on to AA Jayawardena. Put your hands together for our students. These are our students from K-Tech, Orogoduvatta. Joining next we have AA Jayawardena. Your applause for our students. We then move on, IMO Chulanga. T.S. Rupasinghe. And then we have W.G.T.R. Gamage. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we come to the end of this segment. We would like to say thank you very much to our dignitaries. Our dignitaries can take their seats. We're moving on to the next segment now, and I'd now like to invite Mr. Gunadasa Samarasinghe, Additional Secretary Logistics, to please join us, accompanied by Ms. G.H.P. Damayanti, who is Director Planning and Research at the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka. We're about to get started now with the next segment, National Diploma in Computer Numerically Controlled Manufacturing Technology, NVQ Level 5. These are also our students from the Sri Lanka Korea National Vocational Training Institute, Orogoduwatta, also known as KTEC. Orogoduwatta, we start with G.R.R. Gamage. Put your hands together. We then move on, E.K.S.K. Egodage. Put your hands together for our students. Joining next, S.P.N.B. Madhuranga. Our next student, K.T.N. Kumara. These are our students from the KTEC, Orogoduwatta. We then move on to Y.S. Tharaka. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. M.R.D.R. Kumara. We then move on to K.N.M. Manavaru. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. National Diploma in Computer Numerically Controlled Manufacturing Technology, NVQ Level 5. Up next, we have D.S. Dulaj De Silva. We then move on, M.A.L.T. Pereira. Our next student, M.F.M. Farhan. Joining next, we have M.M.B.T. Sadharuan. Next up, M.R.P.T.I.U. Rajapaksa. Our next student is W.T.D. Vithanage. Joining next, we have D.K.L. Sandharuan. Put your hands together. We then move on to P.S.K.D. Kulatunga. Our next student, A.W.K.M.M. Amaravira. Joining next, L.M. Ruwan Pathirana. Our next student is W.A. Malit Pamoda. Joining next, S.M.R. Kavishka. Our next student, S.R.B.A. MPP. Jinendra Singha. We then move on to the National Diploma in Electrical Technology, NVQ Level 5, KTEC, Orogodavatta AAKD Pereira. Joining next, MJL Vimukti. Our next student is HT Ranatunga. This is the National Diploma in Electrical Technology NVQ Level 5. Up next, NDK Madhushan. We then move on to WURP Tilakaratna. Our next student, MAI Sanjeeva. Next we have JHACR Jayatilaka. Joining up next, HMSR Herat. Put your hands together for our students. National Diploma in Electrical Technology NVQ Level 5. Up next, EMDP Ekanaika. We then have PAJK Tilakaratna. Joining next, HAP Lakshan. Our next student, WAU Saranga. WKGS Kavinda. National Diploma in Electrical Technology NVQ Level 5. Our next student, RAT Gunawardhana. These are our students from K-Tech, Orogodavatta. Joining next, BLSC Aravinda. Our next student, RND Pereira. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for our students. Joining next is KMAD Tilaka. Put your hands together. Next up, we have RTGN Rajapaksa. We then move on to MP Piumanta. Our next student, MWMB Prabhashana. We then move on to KYGA Sandakalum. And our next student is KGCJ Kumara. We then move on to the National Diploma in Fluid Power Technology NVQ Level 5 K-Tech Orogodavatta, starting with KWPM Nisanka. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, we have SU Hettiarachi. Our next student, HRMH Hevawasam. We're in the National Diploma in Fluid Power Technology NVQ Level 5. Our next student is KWP Malisha. Congratulations. Next up, BPW Arachi. We then move on to PB Hevawasam. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, we have MCTM Pereira. These are our students from K-Tech Orogodovapta. Joining next, GASD Pereira. Moving on, we have TAYR Sirivardhana. Put your hands together. Our next student is TD Yatagampitya. We then move on to WAMS Vijay Surya. This is a National Diploma in Fluid Power Technology. Up next, S. Dinesh. Our next student is DDK Varagoda. Put your hands together. Next up, we have MAIL Senaviratna. Joining next, NTT Dilshan. We then move on to SMAD Sakalasurya. And up next, we have KKS Deshan. Congratulations. We're moving on to the National Diploma in Mechatronics Technology, NVQ Level 5, also from K-Tech Orogodovapta, starting with DWA Lakshita. Put your hands together. We then move on, KAMC Karnaratna. Joining next, we have KATM Kumarasinghe. Our next student, NDRY Nakandala. Put your hands together. Joining next is CS Kahavita. Congratulations. This is the National Diploma in Mechatronics Technology. Up next, JTN Fernando. We then move on to TMIN Tennakon. Our next student, MDP Hasaranga. We then move on to JWY Bimsara. Our next student, KADLD Vimalajiva. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for our students. National Diploma in Mechatronics Technology. We then move on, A. Abdul Aziz. Congratulations. Joining next, SDKR Diseram. We then move on to SKAVR Satsara. Put your hands together. Joining next, PG Madhura Heshan. We then move on to WS Pires. Let's hear your applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student, DGNN Premasiri. Joining next, SANP Solanga. Up next, we have HMDC Herat. BRK Tharana. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, we have TVAM Vijayaratna. We then move on to WAPR Pushpakumara. Our next student, MPP Pabasara. Up next, WSS Vaidyaratna. We then move on to MUT Gunawardhana. Our next student, GDML Pereira. National Diploma in Mechatronics Technology. MAI Vimanga. Joining next, we have KAV Lakpriya. These are our students from K-Tech, Orogodavatta. We then move on to AN Senavi Ratna. Put your hands together for our students. Up next, we have NG Katriarachige. Joining next, HGS Udara. ND Kumara Peruma. Next up we have SN Manamendra. We then move on to WNS Vijayaratna. National Diploma in Mechatronics Technology. MAA Rajasurya. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, we have WNT Vithanage. Congratulations. Our next student, SCP Suryarachi. We then move on to MKGD Harsha Bandara. Joining next, WMGM Vijay Kaur. And we then move on to TMS Ravindu Lakshan. Hands together for our students. We then move on to the National Diploma in Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Technology, NVQ Level 5, K-Tech Orogodavatta, starting with PRBG Fernando. We then move on to Sumidu Hiripitya. Our next student, JVC De Silva. Congratulations. National Diploma in Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Technology. Up next, APSC Viratunga. We then move on to AWSR Ambagaspitya. Our next student, SMM Prasad. We then move on. RAIL Ranatunga. Our next student, BDCS Bodhinagoda. This is the National Diploma in Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Technology, NVQ Level 5. Up next, HL and Communication Technology. This is the NVQ Level 5. KKGC Gaeshika. Our next student, SK Ranasinghe. We then move on to PGS Kaushalya. Next up, MAI Ravi Hansi. This is a National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student, JN Sandaruwan. Joining next, HSS Turanga. We move on to JD Divyanjali. Next we have KAK Nimsara. Our next student, HGU Prabodhima. Joining next, WKMD Aravindi. We then move on to MDHM Sevmini. Joining next, HKI Madhushani. Our next student, NN EPA. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student, RKV Sudeshan. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we come to the end of this segment. We say thank you very much to our dignitaries. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir, for joining us. You can take your seats. We're moving on to the next segment now. I'd now like to invite Major General Priyantha Veerasinghe, Director General, Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka, to be joined by Mrs. Shanti Edirasinghe, Director Training, Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka, as we now commence with the next segment, National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. This is from the Vocational Training Centre in Talbot Town, Gaul. We start with LNP Nadishani. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to HVN Sithmini. Congratulations. Joining next, WG Deelani De Silva. These are our students from the Vocational Training Centre in Talbot Town, Gaul. Up next, we have KMI Pahasara. Let's put our hands together for all of our students from Gaul. Joining next, AKT Damayanti. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Up next, BL Samarasiri. We then move on to HMUW Rangani. Joining next, M.D.K. Vasana. Vocational Training Center, Talbot Town, Gaul. Our students have come all the way from there, so let's give them a good applause. DKU Divyanjali, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to WKR Asanka. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We then move on to DP Jitendra. Congratulations. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. We then move on to WC Madhushankar. Joining next, we have DV Madhushan. Congratulations. Our next student is MC Sugandhi. Well done. We then move on to MKW Prabodhika. Our next student is KGK Timanka. Joining next, DDS Lakmini. Congratulations. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, GK Dilushi Shanika. We then move on to UPGG Kavindra. Joining next, we have UN Tarindi. Our next student, TU Heva Gama. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology from our Vocational Training Center in Talbot Town, Gaul. Joining next is going to be NS Dilshan. Our next student, DLH Iranga. We then move on to UN Lianapathirana. Our next student, KKS Sewandi. We then move on to THGI Irandi. Our next student, LBK Sandaruvani. We then move on to KGS Avantika. Put it together, ladies and gentlemen. These are our students from the Vocational Training Center in Talbot Town, Gaul. We then move on. Joining next, we have PHN Madhushani. Next is G. Put Put your hands together for her. Student MDP Prabhasha. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. GKN Ruvanga. Congratulations. We move on to the National Diploma in Construction Technology. 5 from our district. We start with RP Manava. Put your hands together. Joining next, WGS Prasadini. These are our students from District Vocational Training Center, Elpitia. Our next student is IS Ruanvella. Congratulations. Joining next, MN Jayavira. This is the National Diploma in Construction Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, KKSS Jaya Singha. AHM De Silva. These are our students from the District Vocational Training Center, Elpitia. So we invite our student to join us. We have National Vocational Training Institute, Baddegama. We start with BAP Udayanga, BD Udayashan. We then move on to BLN Dilshan. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Our next student is KMGUM Dias, National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Put your hands together for our students. Our next student is WP Madara. Your applause for our students from Baddegama. Ramdika. Our next student, KCD Jayakodi. We then move on to PV Alahakon. Let's hear your applause, ladies and gentlemen. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student is KGR Vijani. Well done. GA Sanjeeva is up next. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen. GA Sanjeeva. We then move on to KJT Sandeepani. Our students are from the National Vocational Training Institute, Baddegama. Next, MHKD. Our next student, IKTA Nilanjali. Joining next, WGGAN Sanjeeva. We then move on to LP Tirimavitana. Our next student is KHS Shehan. Put your hands together for our students. We then move on. LKLH Pires. Well done. Our next student, LGL Gihan. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, KSCD Bandara. Joining next is going to be T.A. Roshan. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. These are our students from the National Vocational Training Institute, Baddegama. Our next student, J.D. Surya Arachi. We then move on to M.A.H.R. Nanayakara. Our next student is H.H.R.B. Lakshain. MKL Prabodha. DC Chetana. LKA Sandamali. KPGS Madhushani. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. We then move on to the next student, I.M. Jayasingha. Our next student is NVJ Chaturanga. Congratulations. These are the students from the National Vocational Training Institute, Baddegama. Joining next, we have W.A.K.C. Pereira. Well done. We then move on to P.G.J. Dihara. Congratulations to you. We continue with the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student, B.M.P. Nuwandika. Joining next, we have P.H.C.N. Gunaratna. Let's hear your applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our students have worked very hard to get their diplomas, and they've come from all across the island. So we need to show them our appreciation for their efforts. Our next student, D.C. Jaya Vikrama. Put your hands together. Our next student, K.G.P. Rashan. We're then joined by D.L.T. Dilhari. Our next student, K.A.G.S.U. Karyavasam. Congratulations. Next up, we have L.W.M. Sewandi. Our next student, M.L.S. Umeshika. We then move on to R.L.M.T. Dilshani. Our next student, E.W.H. Hansika. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Next up, AGH Bhagya. Let's hear your applause, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next is GGM Subhashini. Well done. Our next student, KSD Madhumal. Put your hands together for him. We then move on to TBD Ishara Sandamali. Joining next is RG Sumanasekara. Our next student, KHH Tejangi De Silva. Joining next, we have KK Supun Sandamal. Our next student, BAH Ishan. We then move on to a THA Tivangana. Our next student, WKLL Jayakodi. We then move on to MTP Bhagya. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. And our next student is KLP Heishan. Congratulations. And with that, we come to the end of this segment. We say thank you very much to you, sir. Thank you, madam. You can feel free to take your seats. And with that, we'd now like to invite Mr. Dasita Niroshana, Director Skills Development at the VTA, accompanied by Mrs. Nishamini Jayakodi, Director Finance at the VTA, to please join us as we commence the next segment, National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. And this is from the National Vocational Training Institute in Badegama. We start with PHDS Amara Singha. Put your hands together. Our next student is ANLK Taraka. Congratulations. National Diploma in Quantity Sewing. Up next, we have PGK Jayoda. Joining next, CL Rana Singha. We then move on to KKR Ruvantika. National Diploma in Quantity Sewing. Our next student is TM Chandrasekhara. Joining next, we have JPJH Sanjaya. Our next student is SND Gunawardana. This is the National Vocational Training Institute, Badegama. Our students have come from there for their National Diploma in Quantity Surveying. Next up, NWVV Prabhashani. Our next student, GAC Charuni Malki. Joining us up next, MAN Nadiranga. We move on to AKS Priyankara. National Diploma in Quantity Surveying NVQ Level 5. Our next student, IM Samarakon. And we then move on to AVGD Sandaruwan. Put your hands together for our students. Congratulations. We're moving on to the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5 from the District Vocational Training Center, Gampaha. We start with HSP Hettiarachi. Joining next, we have KKIT Surya Kumara. Our next student is NS Rasanga De Silva. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Joining next, KGC Ravishan. Our next student, BD Kaushika. We then move on to HGPC Sagara. Joining these are our students from the District Vocational Training Center, Gampaha. Our next student, JHNR Pereira. We then move on to RAPA Rupasingha. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Joining next, AMM Suwak. We then move on to PHP Madhusankar. Our next student, RKCT Ramanayaka. GVJ Madhushani. Our next student is TT Hettige. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. District Vocational Training Center, Gampaha. Our students are receiving their NVQ Level 5. We then move on to HTS Sankalpani. Joining next, KAGR Kandavela. Congratulations. We then move on to JKR Harshani. Put your hands together. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Up next, we have KPI Lakshani. Let's put our hands together for her. Congratulations. We then move on to WSD Gunavardhana. Joining next, we have K.S. Silpage. We then move on to the next student, T.D. Kurupu Arachi. Up next, W.T.N. Vijay Sundara. Put your hands together. These are students from the District Vocational Training Center in Gampaha. Our next student, SAM DPI Nadishani. Congratulations. We then move on to BGD Kavishka. Joining next, SMM. Our next student, IP Hasaranga. We're still with our students from Gampaha. We move on to NALM Nettasingha. Joining next, RKV Ranasingha. Our next student, RASH Ranasingha. We then move on to RPH. Pure is our student, KDJ Jivanta. Put your hands together. We then move on to WCA Pereira. Our next student, TD Bodhitunga. Joining next, we have MT Senia. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student, GHRPT Deshapriya. Joining next, KBD Buddhini. We then move on to BAJE Rupasingha. We continue with the NVQ level 5 for our students from Kalutara, LD Ruvantika. Next, we have TDBS Gunasekara. Our next student is MDC Isanka. We then move on to the next student, UAH Heshalya. Joining next, we have DSW Kumari. Our next student is HR Shasin. Congratulations. These are our students from Kalutara. Joining next, we have KRTT Sandamali. We then move on to the next student, KHI Pereira. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, we have J.A. Veerakon. This is a National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Up next, KPDU Pereira. Well done. Dharma Singha. Joining next, we have GDS Sachetani. Well done. We have a few more students from Kalutara to recognize. Our next student is MKS Lakmini. And our next student is KASB Jayashanta. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we will be coming to the end of this segment. We'd like to say thank you very much to Mr. Dasata Niroshana. Thank you to Mrs. Nishamini Jaikuri. Next up, I'd like to invite Mrs. Dimuthu Chandrasiri, Director of Vocational Training, VTA, accompanied by Mr. Chandana Vidanapathirana, Director, Career Guidance and Job Placement at the VTA, to please join us as we commence with the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5, from the District Vocational Training Center, Kandy. We start with SMSB. We then move on to the next student, A.H. Batapola. Congratulations. Our next student is KGGDK Karnaratna. These are our students from the District Vocational Training Center in Kandy. Joining next, DMYNC Aryaratna. Put your hands together. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Up next, we have NWN Nishanka. ARP Vanasingha. Joining next, RGHE Piatissa. District Vocational Training Center in Kandy. We continue with the rest of our students. APU AI Pathirana. Our next student is HKGVL Koralage. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Joining next, DMMD Disanaika. Our next student is DMSK Disanaika. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, KTWKM Veerasingha. Our next student, AKBH Jayavikrama. Joining next, GBD Anuradha. We then move on to WRCM Kumarasinghe. Joining next, DMRV Jayawardena. Our next student is SNBRIGGK Bandara. We then move on to DGGS Senaviratna. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Join next, KPMDOB Karnaratna. We then move on to EMVM Senaviratna. Our next student for the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology from the District Vocational Training Center in Kandy, HMMT Herat. Put your hands together for our students. We continue with our next student after that, NGTK Bandara. Congratulations. Joining us up next, we have PGGK Niangoda. Congratulations. Our next student, AMDP Vimalaratna. District Vocational Training Center in Kandy. We have National Diploma in Joining next, we have SDC Chitrananda. Put your hands together for our students. And up next, we have VAD Teldenia. Congratulations. We will then be moving on to the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5, from the District Vocational Training Center, Kandy. We start with EMASA Ekanayaka. Well done. Our next student is MGCS Kulasurya. Put your hands together for our students. We then move on to HMNS Herat. District Vocational Training Center, Kandy. Our next student is KDM Amaravansha. We then move on to TWMPC Veerasinghe. This is the National Diploma in Quantity Surveying, NVQ Level 5. Up next, MANN Munasinghe. Put your hands together. We're moving on to the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5, from the District Vocational Training Center, Kagol. We start with MWTP Jinadasa. Joining next, we have T.S. Saleh. Congratulations. These are our students from District Vocational Training Center in Kagol. Up next, JGK Jayasurya. We then move on to BD Pramudika. Congratulations, National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student is KHST Upamali. Congratulations. We then move on to DRRC Dasanaika. Well done. District Vocational Training Center, Kegol. Our students continue. Our next student is HPIL Jayasingha. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, BLDM Prematilaka. Joining next, we have MRMPB Ratnaika. Let's hear your applause for our students. Congratulations. This is the District Vocational Training Center in Kegol, and we have one more student to recognize in this, LRKC Dasanaika. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We will then be moving to the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5, from the District Vocational Training Center, Kurunegala. We start with MRS Rahman. Congratulations. Joining next, we have RMSP Ratnaika. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, ADUM Atukorala. Congratulations. This is the District Vocational Training Center in Kurunegala. Our next student, IMTN National Diploma in Information. A few more students from Kurunegala to recognize. Up next, MGT Wasana. Put your hands together for our students from Kurunegala. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Joining next, we have WACA Tennakon. Well done. Our next student after that will be IN Karnanaika, also from the District Vocational Training Center in Kurunegala. And right after that, we will move on to the District Vocational Training Center in Martale for the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. We start with DMCCS Vijay Tunga. Put your hands together. Next student is WGAD Jayaratna. Congratulations. Joining next after that from the District Training Center in Martale, National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student, JMSM Bandara. We then move on to our next student, PASH Vishmajit. Congratulations. This is the District Vocational Training Center in National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student, BSL Mudalige. Congratulations to you. Our next student will be IGPG Veerasingha. We have a few more students to recognize from our District Vocational Training Center in Martale. Next up, HMDDK Senavi Ratna. We then move on to MHM Shafan. Congratulations. These are our students from Matale. We then move on to our next student, WMLN, Tushara. Let's hear your applause for our students. Joining next, DMJB Disanaika. Congratulations. Our next student, MRTHS Karnaratna. We then move on to MPRSP Disanaika. Our next student, GWGHL Senvi Ratna. And our final student in this segment, TGRH Madhuwanti. Let's put our hands together for our students, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we will be saying thank you very much to Mrs. Dimuthu Chandrasiri. Thank you to Mr. Chandana Vidhanapati Rana. I'd now like to invite Mrs. Shanti Edarasinghe, Director Training at the VTA, accompanied by Mr. G.N. Kumara, Chief Internal Auditor, VTA, to please join us as we move on to the next segment. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. This is the District Vocational Training Center, Matara. We start with J.D. Sashikani. Put your hands together for her. We then move on to the next student, BBH Nushka. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Up next, AR Fatima. Well done. N. Sasha. Our next student is T.D. Tapli. These are students from District Vocational Training Center in Mahara. Next student, A.G.J. Induvidva. Sanmali. These are our students from T.N. Priyamanta. Congratulations. Student is M.D. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NQ Level 5. Next up, SKM Pramodi. We then move on to the next student, M.H. Shaima. Put your hands together for her. This is the District Vocational Training Center in Matara. Joining next, K.A.G.P. Darshana. We then move on to MMF Hafsa. Congratulations. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. We continue with the rest of our students. M.S. Fatima Samiha. Well done. We then move on to ASE Tivanti. Put your hands for our students. These are our students from the District Vocational Training Center in Mathura. Our next student is MGD Nainapriya. Congratulations. Up next, we have KGPG Madhusanka. S. Sena Rath. Well done. HLS De Silva. Joining next, KPRL Pushpaka. Our next student, MGD Rasanjana. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Up next, HKI Udeshika. Next up, UASS Udathiyavala. These are our students from the District Vocational Training Center in Mathura. We continue with HGGI Satsarani. Joining next, we have MHY Naomi. Put your hands together. Our next student is HN Jayavira. Congratulations. This is the District Vocational Training Center in Mathura. Next up, we have HHD Nuance. Next, we have PDP Ashinsani. National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Joining next, we have RD Kavisha Kavindi. We then move on to MH Fatima Asma. Congratulations. This is District Vocational Training Center Mathura, the NVQ PA Muralekara. We then move on to the next student, WPB Oshada. Up next, WDI Udayanga. These are the students from Mathura, ladies and gentlemen. We continue. HRC Jivanti. Our next student, H. Adasurya. Joining next, PC Nirshani. Our next student is IU Abekhon. These are our students from Mathura. We then move on to the next student with the NVQ level 5, PKI Udayangani. Joining next, we have EN Dulmini. Congratulations. And our next student from Mathura is HRH Watsala. Congratulations. We are next going to be moving on to the District Vocational Training Center, Nuvara Elia, with a National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5, M. Dilani. Put your hands together. We then move on to PWR Semini. Joining next is going to be BTM Abhay Singha. Congratulations. These are our students from the District Vocational Training Center, Noor Elia. Joining next, J. Tanushya. Congratulations. Up next, WAAM Pires. Well done. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology. Our next student, HMBGUM Herat. We then move on to DPTL Ravi Shankar. These are our students from Noor Elia with their NVQ level 5. Up next, TKK Madhusankar. We're next joined by SMTA Bandara. Congratulations. Up next, M. Dilukshana. Congratulations to you. Our next student is G. Hamshana. Well done. Joining next is our student G. Vikneshwaran. Congratulations. District Vocational Training Center in Noor Elia. We have a few more students to go. Next up, T. Kavita. Put your hands together for her. And right after that, we will have P.S. Prasanna. Well done. These are the students from the District Vocational Training Center in Noor Elia. And with that, we will be coming to the end of this segment. We will say thank you very much to Mrs. Shanti Edrasinghe. Thank you to Mr. G.N. Kumara. We'd now like to invite Mr. Saman Atukorala, Director Testing and Evaluation at the VTA, and Ms. G.H.P. Damayanti, Director Planning and Research at the VTA, to join us for the final segment of certificates. We now move on to the District Vocational Training Center, Polonnaruwa, conferring the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. We start with KGSS Karunasena. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. They've come all the way from Polonnaruwa. We then move on to the next student, SU Kotage. Put your hands together. District Vocational Training Center in Polonnaruwa. Joining up next, JASV Jaya Singha. Congratulations. We then move on to HMATD Bandara. Next up, MS Sashika. Congratulations. District Vocational Training Center, Polonnaruwa. Our next student is SAJP Herat. Congratulations to you. This is the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5. Next we have DMNK Disanaika. Our next student is LGNM Senaratna. We will then be moving on. Sri Lanka Korean National Vocational Training Institute, or KTEC, Orogodavatta, National Diploma in Automobile Technology, NVQ Level 5, KMV Deshan. Our next student, PDG Chatubhashana. Put your hands together for our students. National Diploma in Automobile Technology, NVQ Level 5. Our next student is KAGT Nimsara. Well done. Joining next, KASK Devapriya. Our next student, AMSK Gunatilaka. Next, KADSC Pereira. National Diploma in Automobile Technology. Our next student from K-Tech Urugoduvatta is TA Jayakodi. Congratulations. Joining next, we have HPNA Senui Ratna. We then move on. MABR Pereira. Our students from K-Tech Urugoduvatta. MLJ Marvella. Congratulations. WCHC D. Alves. MRM Rikas. KAVC Katugampala. SAHV Disanaika. SN Hatarasingha. KD Muthu Kumarana. We then move on to MHPG Jayatilaka. And with that, we come to the end of this segment. We'd like to say thank you very much to our dignitaries. Thank you. You can take your seats. Up next, we'd like to invite Mr. Niroshan Pereira, Director HR and Administration at the VTA, accompanied by Mr. Chandana Vidanapathirana, Director Career Guidance and Job Placement at the VTA, to join us as we move on to the remaining segment, National Diploma in Electrical Technology, NVQ Level 5 at K-Tech Urugoduvatta, ECSS Elevata. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. YGPPM Samaranayaka. DDW Alakon. National Diploma in Mechatronics Technology, NVQ Level 5, K-Tech Urugoduvatta, RMKU Ratnaika. National Diploma in Computer Numerically Controlled Manufacturing Technology, K-Tech Urugoduvatta, KST Karnaratna. We then move on to the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology, NVQ Level 5, District Vocational Training Center, Ampara. We have MR Suha. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Joining next, we have ZA Fatima Sabra. These are our students from Ampara. Next up, we have M.M. Tasreef. And right after that, we will then move on to the National Diploma in Information and Communication Technology from the District Vocational Training Center, Martale. We have WDSR Gihan. Put your hands together for our students. National Diploma in Fluid Power Technology, NVQ Level 5 from KTech, Orogodavatta, WASV Veerasekara. Next up, we have OS Veerakkode. APDM Mendes. This is the National Diploma in Fluid Power Technology. Up next, DMAE SB Disanaika. And up next, we have KD Madhusanka. And with that, we come for all of our students, ladies and gentlemen. As we come close to the end of our formal proceedings, it's now time for the official signing of the register for the diplomas awarded this evening. To do the honors of the same, I'd like to our Chairman, CEO of the Training Authority, as she now officially signs all of the diplomas that have been awarded this evening. Ms. Samanthi Senanaika, the Chairman and CEO of the Training Authority of Africa, in the honors of the official signature. With that, we will thank Madam and invite Mrs. Samanthi Senanaika now to join us at the lectern as she will officially declare the diploma. Maybe please have the microphone switched on for Madam. Can we please have the music stopped? Okay.
Good evening. I have the honor to announce that the Board of Directors of the Vocational Training Authority of Sri Lanka has resolved that 858 diplomas and higher national diplomas of Fashion Design Technology, Automation and Robotic Technology, Information and Communication Technology, Quantity Surveying Technology, Cosmetology, Automobile Technology, Computer Numerically Controlled Manufacturing Technology, Electrical Technology, Fluid Power Technology, Mechatronic Technology, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Technology, Web Technology, and Construction Technology be conferred on those to be defended in person and in absentia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mrs. Samanthi Senanaika as she declared the ceremony closed. On that note, we are getting ready now to officially conclude the ceremony. Before we wrap up, a few announcements for all of our students. We'd like to invite all which are served outside following the completion of the ceremony. Students, please remember to return your cloaks before you leave the venue. And also, don't forget to capture the wonderful memories of today at the 360-degree video booth. We have a 360-degree video booth placed outside in the foyer area, so you can feel free to go ahead after the ceremony and take your pictures and videos. With that being said, we will now be concluding our diploma awarding ceremony. Once again, congratulations to all of our diploma holders for a very bright future, and we trust that you will make VTA proud. With that being said, as we now conclude our ceremony, may I request us all to please rise for the national anthem of Sri Lanka. We invite all of our students to please remain standing because our dignitaries will now be leaving the hall. And with that, we say thank you very much to all of you. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Refreshments are served outside. Congratulations and have a great day. Thank you.